Welcome and a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this finds you in good health. And welcome to yet another episode of Perceptive Learning Zone. I'm your host, Mohammed Hamza Nasser, and today we launched the fourth episode and the final episode on cybersecurity. I would just like to quickly pick up from where I left off in the last session, where I was given advice for people who were, seeking jobs abroad in cybersecurity. So I would say, guys, research the country's cybersecurity regulations and requirements before you proceed. Every country is going to have its own set of rules and regulations when it comes to cybersecurity. So before you apply for a job overseas, just make sure you sort of research the specific requirements and regulations, and you ensure that your qualifications and your level of skill sets they sort of align with what is needed. It's very important to network with professionals in the industry. You have to develop a strong network, and this can be very beneficial in terms of finding job opportunities overseas because every Tom, Dick, or Harry does not have an uncle or a aunt or a grandpa sitting somewhere in the higher echelons who's going to get him or her a good placement. So the networking is very important. You got to reach out to industry professionals and attend cybersecurity conferences and events in order to meet other people in this field, right? So gain as much experience as you can. Employers, well, they will seek employees who have relevant work experience. So I would say internship, right? Grab that if possible. Do some volunteering. Start studying an online course. This can help you get more experience and make you a more attractive, a more competitive candidate. And also consider learning a new language, right? I always give the example, right? In most Pakistani universities and colleges and high schools, the medium of communication, the degree of proficiency is in English, right? But just ask yourself, when was the last time you came across any teacher who spoke in English 101% of the time? So if you know the local language, you're gonna have an advantage, right? So it gives you an edge over competitors. It sort of improves your ability to to sort of blend in with the local culture, right? So I would say, guys, be patient and persistent, but also at the same time, I would say make sure that you guys are flexible. Okay, make sure that there's room for you guys to sort of indulge in compromises, right? It's very important to compromise in life, right? It may take some time to find a job overseas, so persistence is very important. You have to be adaptable and be prepared for the fact that you might have to work in a different, in a different position initially until you find the right opportunity in the field. Speaking about the positive aspects of working overseas in this domain, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, well, they projected a 32% employment growth for information security analysts from 2022 all the way up till 2032. So this is much faster than the average projected growth rate of 3% for all other professions, right? And as for cybersecurity positions overall, the CyberSeek, it reports that there are only enough cybersecurity professionals in US to fill 72% of the job openings in the field. So this also indicates a strong demand, a very robust demand for these sort of workers. So I will say that the society has become very dependent, and this dependency is increasing with the passage of time on technology for personal purposes, for business matters, especially in the last decade. So companies nowadays, they need the expertise of cybersecurity professionals to prevent data theft as well as do some compromising. So this leads to the continued demand and resurgence for having new professionals in this field. And as long as digital areas exist up till the end of the world, right, these professionals will be in demand. And obviously, there is high security, high job security, which is coupled with high earning potential. Hence, I would come to the conclusion that a degree in cybersecurity is worth it. Then I got another question that Hamza, you listed some main jobs when it comes to cybersecurity, but can you please sort of enlighten about what are some of the most top paying, most lucrative jobs? So let's sort of address this area as well. So I would say there is a job called bug bounty hunter, right? It feels a bit fancy, right? But bug bounty hunter is actually a catchy name for doing freelance in this field, right? So bug bounty hunters, or they are expert hackers, I would say. They detect software security vulnerabilities, and they use advanced tools such as Amass, Hackbar, Google Docs, DNS discovery, and they sort of prevent the zero-day attacks. So in 2020, the HackerOne reported that bug bounty hunters, they discover a software vulnerability every 2.5 minutes. And this totals over 576 discoveries of software vulnerabilities in a day. So this demonstrates an abundance, a surplus of employment opportunities for ethical hackers. And also, it's important for us to know that freelance bug bounty hunters, they could earn up to 500,000 US dollars per year, detecting as well as reporting security flaws to big companies. And the highest bounties for exposed vulnerabilities, well, they exceed $100,000 on HackerOne. And some freelance hackers have earned more than 1 billion US dollars on this particular platform. Now, apart from bug bounty hunter, another top-paying job I would say in this field, guys, that is CISO. That is actually short for Chief Information Security Officer, right? So a CISO, right? He sort of safeguards and protects company infrastructure and assets from malicious actors, right? By implementing your security policies. And these professionals, they also train other employees. They ensure the company's compliance with security standards. And the average, it is sort of projected that the average annual salary of chief information security officers, it is north of 173,000 US dollars. I'm talking about on a yearly basis, right? So it's a pretty lucrative field, I would say. Now, another well-renowned job is that of a lead software security engineer. I repeat, lead software security engineer, right? So this particular fellow, right, he implements and tests the security techniques, right, in a company's network. And this senior role is sort of reserved for expert coders who demonstrate leadership qualities. And the average security engineer earns about 100,000 US dollars per year, according to PayScale. And experienced security engineers earn an estimated figure, approximately 126,000 US dollars. A cybersecurity sales engineer is another promising profession that pays well, right? They sort of handle the technological evaluation stages of the sales process, right? So cybersecurity sales engineers, they combine technical know-how with sales and communication skills to sort of explain the functionality of a company's products and services. They also communicate customer expectations to the product team to ensure overall user satisfaction. And this type of cybersecurity engineer salary is approximately 76,000 US dollars per year on average. And obviously those in senior level positions earn around 117,000 US dollars. Now, so bottom line, right, to reiterate, what are some of the most promising well-paying jobs, right? They are bug bounty hunter, that is more of a freelance role. Then you got CISO, CISO, that is Chief Information Security Officer, lead software security engineer, and cybersecurity sales engineer. These are some of the most well-paying jobs, and you can just refer to my previous podcast. The previous episode, the YouTube video, hopefully we have a podcast soon, in which I mentioned some other alternative job professions in cybersecurity apart from these mentioned stipulated designations as well, right? Now, another question pops up at this stage from the audience that what are my alternatives to a cybersecurity degree? So a person wants to embed himself in this field if we find it to be very promising, very lucrative, full of opportunities for personal growth and development, but he feels like a degree is a tad bit too slow and gradual, and he wants alternative options. So what are our alternative options? So in case you feel like you want to get into cybersecurity without having to attend college, just lend me an ear, fellows, right? So though I will say that a traditional four-year degree is the most common way to start a career in cybersecurity, it's not the only one, right? You have boot camps as well as associate degrees. So my two alternatives to degree are what? boot camps, as well as associate degrees, right? What are these things? Well, they can also, for starters, equip you with the skills needed for an entry-level cybersecurity job. Given the current shortage of professionals in this field, employers are generally more open to alternative education credentials for positions in this field. So let's talk about an associate degree in cybersecurity or computer science. So it's a two-year program, a quick way to jumpstart your career, right? You sort of learn the foundations of digital asset protection in this program. You're equipped with the practical skills that employers require. And many associate degree programs, well, they offer very flexible learning schedule in case you work part-time, got other personal / miscellaneous commitments, right? It's very easy for you to indulge in them and sort of keep the balance. Now, as for, I'm going to quote international figures, right? So the cost of an associate degree in cybersecurity, it ranges somewhere from 7,100 US dollars to approximately, somewhere around 25,400 US dollars. So it depends on whether you study in or out of state, and obviously whether your school is public or private, you gotta incorporate those things into consideration as well. So one alternative option is what associate degree in cybersecurity. Now, the second alternative option that you got, fellas, apart from the associate degree, is your cybersecurity boot camp, right? So if you want to switch, I would say if you want to switch your career without spending 2 or 4 years in a classroom, then I would say your best bet is a boot camp, right? So boot camps, well, they sort of differ from traditional degrees in terms of cost as well as duration, right? They often charge around 11,000 US dollars in tuition. Some could even cost as much as 20 grand, but they're often what I call short-term immersive programs that run from 6 to 28 weeks, right? And Pakistan has actually, in this regard, so I would say the boot camps are, I've attended them myself, right? For instance, I attended a 3-month boot camp on digital marketing at Enablers, right? And I feel like the practical know-how that I have in marketing is sort of on par with a lot of people who have sort of done degrees in marketing, even though I have no degree in marketing, right? So there you go. You cannot deny their potency, their effectiveness, right? So, and now the good news is that Pakistan has achieved the top score in the International Telecommunication Union's Global Cybersecurity Index 2024 report. So this report ranks hundreds of countries across different continents according to their what shall I say, their cybersecurity status, and Pakistan was basically ranked among the top tier performers. And it scored 20 on a scale of 1 to 20 for legal measures. It scored 18.21 for technical measures. Organization measures got a 20, capacity development got a 20, and cooperation measures won 8.48. So this is very good because it sort of puts Pakistan ahead of hundreds of other contenders on the list. And the country's performance was hailed by the State Minister for Information Technology and Telecommunication, Fatma Khawaja, who says that, and these are her words, I quote, the Global Cybersecurity Index 2024 shows significant improvements by countries that are implementing essential legal measures, plans, capacity building initiatives, and cooperation frameworks, especially in strengthening incident response capabilities. Pakistan has performed exceptionally well in the latest ranking and has been placed in tier 1 alongside countries like the United States, Japan, Singapore, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Malaysia, unquote. However, we should not let this news sort of overwhelm us or sort of, detract us from the fact that there is still a lot of room for progress, right? On a national level, there's still a lot more we can do to sort of strengthen our cybersecurity infrastructure. So what would these suggestions be? How do we improve ourselves from a cybersecurity aspect, right? Well, you have to divide your measures into different arenas, right? If you talk about it from a political spectrum, I would say what needs to be done is we sort of need to have a national awareness campaign, right? Sort of generate publicity, right? Make sure you have established a dedicated body for cybersecurity culture, right? Allocate some dedicated financial capital towards this cause. design your national cybersecurity curriculum, and there should be a national capacity development program that is very integral, right? If we talk about from a legal perspective, we need to draft a cybersecurity policy, strategy, and defense. We need to develop cyber security standards and adopt some industry competency models. We need to establish compliance accreditations, right? And obviously, the management arena has to be very proactive about this as well. You gotta establish cybercrime units in local police stations. You gotta establish specialized cybercrime codes. You have to establish cybersecurity inspection programs. The monitoring has to be there, right? Just define your benchmarks. Apart from defining benchmarks, also illustrate what are your success indicators for initiatives, what are your acceptable practices, and make sure that you publish periodic process reports. There needs to be a culture of review, monitoring, as well as continuous quality improvement. And obviously, from an economic perspective, you got to be all hands on deck as well, fellas, right? You got to develop a stakeholder engagement plan. You have to promote your public-private partnerships. You got to design your cybersecurity research agenda, increase your knowledge base, and obviously sort of increase your international partnerships too. I feel a very good role model for our country's cybersecurity system can be Estonia's cyber defense center. So Estonia is a very small Baltic nation, and it has become a global leader in cybersecurity. Its cyber defense center has played a very crucial role in protecting the country's critical infrastructure and digital assets. Now, those of you who are not aware of the world maps and geography, right? One of the big challenges for Estonia is the geopolitical risk, right? So its proximity to Russia and its reliance on digital technology sort of make Estonia a very prime target for cyber attacks, right? It has limited resources as a small nation when it comes to investing in cybersecurity, and obviously the rapid pace of technological development. It presents constant challenges in keeping up with new threats. So what the CDC did was, right, they adopted a proactive approach to cybersecurity, focusing on prevention and detection rather than solely reactive measures. Another good thing that Estonia did was it sort of fostered many strong partnerships between the governments, private sector, and academia to enhance your cybersecurity capabilities. And lastly, we can't help praising Estonia's digital resilience, right? The country developed a culture of digital resilience with citizens and organizations being aware of cybersecurity risks and taking appropriate measures to protect themselves. So, and finally, before we conclude and call it a session, right? There are always success stories for us to motivate us. So success stories of systems, success stories of organizations, nations, as well as individuals. And since we have already discussed countries and organizations, I would like to share two success stories of individuals, one from Pakistan and the other abroad in cybersecurity, just to motivate all of those people who are watching this video and are thinking of pursuing a career in this noble profession, right? So Dr. Aisha Siddiqa, well, she was a very prominent cybersecurity expert from Pakistan, and she has made significant contributions to the field through her research, her teaching, and advocacy, right? She faced challenges like limited resources, political instability, but she has successfully conducted research. She's published papers, she has mentored students, right? And her work has been very instrumental, very, I would say, pivotal in raising awareness about cybersecurity issues in Pakistan and advocating for effective policies. And let us not forget Marcus Hutchins, right? Marcus Hutchins, is a British cybersecurity researcher, and he gained international recognition for his role in stopping the WannaCry ransomware attack that happened in 2017. And despite the global scale of the attack and the time pressure, Hutchins was able to discover a kill switch. He discovered a kill switch in the ransomware code that prevented further damage, and his actions demonstrated the importance of cybersecurity and inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in this domain. So both these people serve as role models for societies. They highlight the positive impact that individuals can have on protecting the digital world, right? Their dedication and expertise and contributions to cybersecurity, inspire others to pursue careers in this field and contribute to building a more secure digital future. And you see, ultimately, to conclude, I'm just going to say this, fellas, you can get all the information you want at the click of a button, right? I'm talking associate degrees, boot camps. I'm talking about entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, right? But ultimately, the choice is on you. How do you choose to act, right? Do you just keep on anticipating your next move, right? Do you just kill yourself doing that boring job for the rest of your life, fearing a risk, or do you make a calculated risk? Okay, I would say move on. Don't make the same mistake that your elders made. Okay, take a calculated risk every now and then, and until you don't find out, you're never gonna know. All right. Worst case scenario, you try, it doesn't turn out to be your cup of tea. Well, at least you can't blame yourself that you didn't try, right? So it's worth a shot, I would say, and may God be all of you. Thank you very much, fellas. We'll be back soon with much more quality content. You all stay blessed and have a lovely day. Assalamu alaikum.